Did you know that the fastest pitcher in movie history was secretly on steroids, throwing off a mound that had been moved 10 feet closer to home plate? Or that the film's slickest base runner
back goes Hayes, way back to the wall, jumps and makes a great catch!
couldn't actually throw a baseball, and the director had to hide it in every single shot? Major League came out in April of 1989, cost $11 million to make, and went on to gross $75 million worldwide. But the real story is what happened behind the scenes, and how a goofy baseball comedy ended up changing the actual sport forever. Here are 21 crazy facts most people have never heard about this movie. Hope you enjoy. Number 21. The movie was filmed in Milwaukee, not Cleveland. This is the one that surprises everyone. The story takes place in Cleveland, but Cleveland Municipal Stadium was essentially unusable. The Browns' preseason had left football yard lines baked into the shared field. Union costs in Cleveland were sky high, and scheduling conflicts with both the Indians and the Browns made it a logistical nightmare. So director David S. Ward moved the entire production to Milwaukee County Stadium, where the city and county government let them film for free, and Miller Brewing Company helped sponsor the shoot. If you look closely during the climactic game scenes, you can spot WTMJ-TV on the scoreboard. That's Milwaukee's NBC affiliate, not a Cleveland station. Extras wearing Quad Graphics t-shirts, a Milwaukee-based company, are also visible. Number 20. Up to 27,000 extras packed the stadium for free. For the playoff game sequences, the production put out a call for volunteers, and roughly 27,000 locals showed up to fill Milwaukee County Stadium. Wisconsin Governor Tommy Thompson attended opening night of filming on July 30th, 1988, and officially declared July 30th through the 31st Major League weekend in the state. He even presented Ward with a plaque. A core group of around 200 to 300 dedicated extras reportedly came back every single day of the shoot. Number 19. Charlie Sheen admitted to using performance-enhancing drugs for the role. In a 2011 Sports Illustrated oral history, Sheen said he used steroids for about 6 to 8 weeks during filming. His exact words, "Let's just say I was enhancing my performance a little bit." He said his fastball went from about 79 miles per hour to roughly 85. He called it the only time he ever used PEDs and admitted it brought his asshole meter way up. Number 18. The pitcher's mound was secretly moved forward. Even with the steroid boost, 85 miles per hour doesn't exactly look like a major league heater on camera, so the production moved the mound approximately 10 feet closer to home plate and filmed from behind the catcher to amplify the visual effect. On screen, Sheen's pitches look like they're pushing the upper 90s. In reality, they were mid-80s thrown from about 50 feet instead of the regulation 60 feet, 6 inches. Number 17. Sheen was a legitimate high school baseball star who almost went pro. This wasn't just some actor pretending. Charlie Sheen pitched for Santa Monica High School and reportedly compiled a 40-15 career record, averaging around 84 to 85 miles per hour. He attended the Mickey Owen Baseball School for multiple summers and was reportedly offered a partial scholarship from the University of Kansas. But he was expelled from high school just weeks before graduation due to poor grades and attendance. And his baseball career ended before it started. He channeled all of that frustration directly into Ricky Vaughn. Number 16. Sheen turned down Bull Durham to make this movie. The producers of Bull Durham, which came out the year before in 1988, originally wanted Sheen for the Nuke LaLoosh role that ultimately went to Tim Robbins. Sheen passed because he preferred David S. Ward's script, reportedly comparing it favorably to Platoon. Given that Bull Durham became a classic in its own right, it's wild that Sheen bet on the underdog script. And both films ended up in the Baseball Movie Hall of Fame. Number 15. Wesley Snipes couldn't throw, run, or play baseball. Director David S. Ward later admitted that Snipes was, in his words, so awful at throwing a baseball that there is not a single scene in the entire finished film showing Willie Mays Hayes making a throw. Every camera angle was carefully blocked to hide this. The running scenes were reportedly filmed in slow motion, not for cinematic drama, but because Snipes wasn't fast enough at regular speed to look like a base-stealing speedster. The slow motion created the illusion of blazing speed. Number 14. Snipes turned down Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing for this role. Spike Lee's 1989 film went on to become one of the most acclaimed movies of the decade and is now preserved in the Library of Congress. Snipes chose Major League instead. He and Lee later made amends, with Snipes appearing in Mo' Better Blues in 1990 and Jungle Fever in 1991. But the what if of Snipes in Do the Right Thing is one of the great alternate casting stories of the era. Number 13. Dennis Haysbert actually hit a real home run during filming. During the climactic game scene at Milwaukee County Stadium, Haysbert genuinely connected and sent the ball over the fence, reportedly around 315 feet down the left field line. Ward confirmed to Sports Illustrated that Dennis actually went yard, and the entire set stopped and applauded. Number 12. He was so pumped he forgot to drop the bat. After crushing that real homer, Haysbert was so hyped that he ran the bases carrying the bat the entire way. It wasn't scripted, but it looked so natural and funny that Ward kept it in the final cut. With over 20,000 extras screaming in the stands, Haysbert was reportedly emotionally overwhelmed. Technical advisor and former MLB catcher Steve Yeager leaned over and told him, "That's what it's like 162 times a year." Number 11. Bob Uecker improvised almost every iconic line. Ward cast Uecker based on his Miller Lite beer commercials and his role on the sitcom Mr. Belvedere. Here's the crazy part. Ward reportedly had no idea that Uecker was the actual longtime radio voice of the Milwaukee Brewers, a job he'd held since 1971. Ward only found out when they met in person. Once on set, Uecker was given an outline and told, in his own words, "Be this guy." The result was some of the most quoted lines in sports movie history. Number 10. Just a bit outside was completely ad-libbed. That line, repeated by every sportscaster for the last 3 decades, appears nowhere in early script drafts. Uecker made it up on the spot. Other ad-libs include pouring Jack Daniels and rubbing it behind his ears like cologne, inventing nicknames for the Indians, and the brutal observation, "In case you haven't noticed, and judging by the attendance you haven't." Film critic Richard Roper once said, "The line has been invoked by every sportscaster in the last 30 years, and Uecker only spent about 2 days total on set due to his real broadcasting schedule with the Brewers." Number 9. The original ending was completely different and test audiences killed it. Ward's original script had a twist. Rachel Phelps was secretly rooting for the Indians all along. She had personally scouted each player knowing they had hidden talent and was using reverse psychology to motivate the team. Reaction shots of actress Margaret Whitten cheering were actually filmed. But when test audiences saw it, they hated it. They loved hating the villain and didn't want her redeemed. Ward scrapped the twist, reshot the reaction shots with Phelps sneering, cursing, and slamming Vaughn's entrance music. The original alternate ending is included on the DVD release. Number 8. The wild thing in the movie isn't the version most people think. Everyone assumes Ricky Vaughn enters to the famous 1966 Troggs recording. He doesn't. The version in the film is actually a cover by the LA punk band X, recorded in 1984. Ward chose it specifically because, as he put it, it sounded like 1,000 people were singing it, which gave it a raw, stadium-ready energy the original lacked. Number 7. Real pitcher Mitch Williams stole the entire Ricky Vaughn persona. After the film's release in April 1989, Wrigley Field organist Gary Pressey began playing Wild Thing whenever Cubs reliever Mitch Williams came out of the bullpen. When Williams was traded to the Phillies, they started playing the X-Punk version from the film for his entrances. And in 1993, Williams switched from jersey number 28 to number 99. Ricky Vaughn's exact number. Charlie Sheen was reportedly pissed for years that Williams never publicly credited the film. Number 6. The movie essentially invented the modern closer entrance song. While the practice technically existed before, Sparky Lyle had pomp and circumstance with the Yankees in the 1970s. Ricky Vaughn's Wild Thing entrance is widely credited with mainstreaming the concept of a relief pitcher having a personal walk-up anthem. That scene directly inspired Mariano Rivera's Enter Sandman, Trevor Hoffman's Hell's Bells, and more recently, Edwin Diaz's viral Narco trumpet entrance with the Mets. Every time a closer jogs in from the bullpen to their own song, Major League deserves a little credit. Number 5. The real Cleveland Indians built an actual Jobu shrine during the 2016 World Series. During the 2016 World Series against the Cubs, second baseman Jason Kipnis and first baseman Mike Napoli reportedly converted an empty locker in the Cleveland Indians' actual clubhouse into a Jobu shrine, complete with offerings. directly mimicking Pedro Tirano's famous setup. The shrine did not deliver. Cleveland lost to the Cubs in 7 games. Number 4. The movie basically predicted the 1995 Cleveland Indians. David S. Ward has said he wrote Major League because he believed he would never see the Indians win anything unless I wrote a movie where they did. The real Cleveland Indians hadn't won a pennant since 1954, a drought of 35 years at the time of filming. Just 6 years after the movie came out, the 1995 Indians went 144 in the strike-shortened season and reached the World Series for the first time in 41 years. Number 3. Bob Uecker called that 1995 World Series on NBC as himself. Picture this. Uecker was serving as color commentator alongside Bob Costas for NBC's World Series broadcast. When the real Indians threw wild pitches, Costas would reportedly cue Uecker, and he'd deliver just a bit outside, Harry Doyle's fictional voice narrating actual baseball history. It was a surreal collision of movie and reality. Number 2. Rene Russo's feature film debut, and the director had to physically hold her hands down. Major League was Rene Russo's first feature film. She was 35 at the time and had spent the previous decade as one of the top models in the country. Director Ward reportedly had to physically hold down her hands during filming because her expressive Italian gestures kept flying across the frame. She later said the library scene, which was filmed in one continuous take, was the moment she thought, okay, well then, maybe I can do this. She went on to Lethal Weapon 3, Get Shorty, and multiple Marvel Thor films. Number 1. The Cleveland Guardians name literally comes from this movie's opening shot. The film opens with a sweeping shot of the Guardians of Traffic, the iconic Art Deco statues on Cleveland's Hope Memorial Bridge. In 2022, the Cleveland Indians officially renamed themselves the Cleveland Guardians, named after those exact statues. So the very first image audiences saw in Major League back in 1989 ended up foreshadowing the franchise's identity over 30 years later. Nobody could have predicted that. If you like this video, you can click here and watch more videos like this one. So there it is. 21 facts about Major League that prove the real stories behind the movie are just as entertaining as anything on screen. From Sheen secretly juicing on a trick mound, to Wesley Snipes never once throwing a baseball, to Bob Uecker showing up for 2 days and ad-libbing lines that sportscasters are still quoting in 2025. This film was built on illusions that became more real than anyone expected. Here's a question for you. Which fact blew your mind the most? Sheen's steroid confession, the alternate ending where the villain was actually the hero, or the Jobu Shrine in the real Cleveland clubhouse during the 2016 World Series? Drop it in the comments. And if you love deep dives into classic movies like this, subscribe and hit the bell so you catch the next one. Thanks for watching.